New developments in the disappearance of a missing Colorado mother. Investigators may have found evidence in Idaho, nearly 800 miles away from 29-year-old Kelsey Barrett's home, days after her cell phone pinged in that state. Police arrested her fiancé, 32-year-old Patrick Frazee, and charged him with first-degree murder after a search of Barrett's home outside of Colorado Springs. Joining us now is Mercedes Colwin, Fox News legal analyst. The police have said they found evidence, but we don't know what that evidence is. Smart
of them to do that, because they have to obviously collect all this evidence and try to get the incrimination of their suspect, who's the fiancé. If they start releasing the information, it'll give them a head start. At least the defense will get a head start. All of that's going to be close to the vest until the investigation is controlled and completed and then sent over to the prosecutor's office. So pretty routine and very smart on their side.
We had heard about this cell phone ping before, and it was apparently about 800 miles away from their home, but it was 2 or 3 days after.
Interesting. And what's key is the charge, because the charge is solicitation of murder as well as first-degree murder against the fiancé. So the solicitation might be the individual that was involved, or at least what's suspected to have been involved in the murder.
Another individual besides the fiancé.
Exactly, because solicitation is exactly that there are individuals that were involved in the murder. So, for instance, if they take this cell phone and then take it away from where the scene, they suspect that she was killed in Colorado, and then part of the evidence was then taken across state lines into Idaho. They can just muddy up the waters. I mean, if you're soliciting for murder and you are hiring someone out of state, that individual could easily have taken her cell phone and let it ping in other places. So we already know that there was a text message received during the time that she was missing.
But that message could have been sent by someone else using her phone?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Now, there was video release, surveillance footage of her entering a grocery store.
Yep.
And a lot was made of the fact that we didn't see her leaving the store. But I have a theory that you do see her leaving with someone else, and the police just didn't release that part of the video. Is that possible?
That's a great point. And it could be, because so much of what law enforcement's doing is they're taking the evidence and making sure that they don't disclose it and publish it to the extent that you're tipping off the defense and tipping off this other individual that they suspect was also involved. That's due to the solicitation of murder. So there's, without question, there will be some other arrests made. They're just keeping it so close to the vest. Otherwise, they wouldn't have charged him with solicitation. They would have continued to just charge him with the first-degree murder. But with solicitation, it's a signal. We know someone else is involved. We're going to get to that other individual. There's FBI's involved. You've got local authorities involved. They really are circling the wagons and keeping it so close to the vest that they're going to get closer and closer to this other individual or individuals that were involved.
Well, people who are wondering, like, why hasn't more happened on this case? Like, why is it? But they need to take their time. They need to do it right.
Such a great point. If they don't do it correctly and they rush, that's when you get it mucked up. That's when there's going to be, the defense will come forward and say, look, they didn't collect the evidence the way they should, and their motions to suppress that evidence. And we see that in some of the highest profile cases where there's all this evidence that's being suppressed, and that's because the evidence wasn't collected appropriately, there was a rush. It really has to be methodical, careful, and to the point. You want to get your person.
The suspicion from day one was on the fiancé, but he was free for quite some time. Is there also a strategy there that perhaps he might make a phone call or talk to somebody and reveal more that investigators need to know before they take him into custody?
Excellent point. They do hope that someone's going to trip up, someone that's being accused, that they'll trip up eventually. They'll trip up in who they talk to. They'll get a consciousness will sort of rise up, and they'll make an admission of some sort. And really they knew and suspected him from almost the very start. 85% of murders are done by individuals that knew they're the decedent. That's pretty staggering. Yeah. So you already have a circle of suspects from the inception of when someone is dead.
But Kelsey Barrett has not been found.
No.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, no body, no case. That's not true in this day and age when you've got CSI.
Mercedes Colwin, we appreciate your time this morning.
Great to be here. Thank you.